Hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a book haul. So in this video I'm going to be showing you all the books I got in June, July and August. And the first one was Kill Creek by Scott Thomas, and this is a horror novel and it's about 4 different horror authors who all spend Halloween in a haunted house for an interview. And they didn't know that they were going to be interviewed together. They all thought that was going to be an individual interview, but it wasn't. So they're all gathered at that haunted house. And weird things start happening as usual in every haunted house story. But the thing is, the real haunting happens after they leave the house. And I loved this book so much. I really liked Well, first of all, I really liked following these characters, and I also really liked the creepy atmosphere and like the horror descriptions, even like body horror things and like dead bodies. And yes, I love all those descriptions, and I love the ending. Like, it was exactly what I wanted to happen, and it happened, and I was really happy. And this is not like a recommendations video, but if you like horror, and especially like horror about haunted houses or like houses that act kind of like a character, I really recommend this book. The second book was The Loop by Ben Oliver, and I have also read this one already. And this is a science fiction novel about Luca, who is incarcerated in the Loop. And the Loop basically functions as a death row for teens. And like I said, it's a death row, they're all gonna get executed, but they can delay their executions if they let people experiment on them. And so we follow Luca and other prisoners as they have to deal with living in the Loop, and also as they start having to deal with what's happening on the outside, because on the outside world there is a war starting. And I also really enjoyed this one. The next book is Season of Storms by Andrzej Sapkowski, and this is the last book in the Witcher series. And it's the last book, but it's not the conclusion to the story, because the actual conclusion to the story is the previous book, because this is set between the short story collections. And I don't know much about what's gonna happen here, but it says here in the back that Geralt's signature weapons are stolen, and he's gonna be traveling the world to try to get them back. So I feel like it's gonna be a lot like the short story collections, where it's just him fighting monsters wherever he's going and not following the main plot of the other books, which makes sense because this is before that plot. And yeah, I'm very excited, and I think Jaskier, or Dandelion, is in this book, and I absolutely love him, so yes, very excited to read this. The next book is Chapter House Dune by Frank Herbert, and this is the 6th and final Dune novel. And I was planning to have read the 5th book before I filmed this video, but I haven't, so I don't actually know what's gonna happen in this one, because I could have looked it up, but I think I was just gonna spoil myself for book 5. But yeah, book 5 is going. I have started it, but I was just so confused that I stopped it, and I'm trying to get the courage to start it again. And yeah, I will one day eventually read that and this. But yeah, I don't think I've said it before, but Dune series is a science fiction, classic science fiction series, and yeah, this is the conclusion to that series. The next book is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I never know how to say this name. I've looked it up and I forgot. So yeah. Again, I have read this book, and this is a gigantic science fiction book, and I really, really, really love this book. I think this is one of the best books I've ever read. For me personally, one of my favorites. And it's about Ryland, who is on a mission to save humanity. And he's the only survivor of that mission. But when he wakes up, he doesn't know that. He doesn't even know who he is or where he is or what he has to do. He has no idea how to save the humanity, or even that he has to at first. But we are shown some flashbacks at the same time as Ryland is remembering those things. And so that's very interesting. Like, we get to know exactly as much as the main character knows. So yeah, I really like that. And I really liked the science in this book because it's like a science-heavy science fiction book, like very science-heavy. So if you like your science, really, again, not a recommendation video, but I highly recommend. The next book is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. And this is the last book of this list that I have already read. And this is a Gothic horror novel, and we follow Noemi. After her father receives a letter from Catalina, who is Noemi's cousin, saying that she is not feeling great, and she thinks she's being poisoned. And so Noemi and her father are naturally worried because, I mean, she just got married and she says that she's being poisoned by her husband's family. So Noemi goes to Catalina's husband's family's house. And, well, their family is called the Doyles, it's probably easier. And she goes to the Doyle's house. And weird things start happening right away. I really loved the atmosphere of this book. It was very creepy, like you felt uneasy while reading it. And like I really loved that. And there was a whole thing about mushrooms, and I knew that before I read it. And I love mushrooms, and I still love mushrooms after I read this book, so there's that. And yeah, I mostly enjoyed this book. I have to say that like the beginning was kind of slow, but like I said, it was so like creepy and atmospheric that I did not mind at all. And yeah, really enjoyed it. Alright, the next book I got was The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. And, well, first of all, this book is enormous. And second of all, this book is so beautiful. I think this is the most beautiful book ever. Like, and like the blue foil, I don't know if the camera is picking it up, but like, it's so beautiful. And also like the spine, gorgeous. And so this is like an epic fantasy book, standalone, which is not usual in fantasy, but you know, it's always great. Like, I love series, but it's always great to just read a book and be done with the story as well. So yeah, definitely very excited. Also, this is gigantic, so this could be multiple books, you know, just saying. Yeah, anyway, it's an epic fantasy series, and like usual in many fantasy books, we follow a bunch of different characters as they go on their different quests, and I'm assuming by the end it's gonna all come together, because that's usually how I was gonna say that's usually how fantasy works, but that's usually how every book works. When you follow a bunch of characters, it usually connects in the end. I haven't read it yet, but I am very excited, but I'm also very scared because, like I said, this is huge. And here it says, a world divided, a kingdom without an heir, an ancient enemy awakens. And like, it has dragons, and I love dragons. And yeah, it's just so beautiful. And speaking of dragons, the next two books I got were actually part of the same series, and they are The Dragon, Reborn, and The Shadow Rising, both by Robert Jordan, and they are books 3 and 4 in the Wheel of Time series. I'm trying to like figure out how to have these books up, but like, how am I gonna hold them both? You know, like this. This is the next book I'm gonna read of the series, and after the ending of book 2, all the characters are gonna go in their different missions, their different quests, and so we are going to follow them, and I am very excited, and especially after something that happened in book 2. Not exactly at the ending, but like a little before. And like I have a whole spoilery vlog up in my channel, but I'm not gonna like spoil anything here, but there was a whole thing that I didn't understand, but was so interesting. And I really wanna learn more about that, and I'm hoping they will talk more about that in this book. So yes, I am very, very, very excited. And again, don't know what's going to happen in book 4. Also, this is so big. This is over 1,000 pages. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen here because I haven't read the previous book, but yes, very excited for both. Alright, the next book is The Block by Ben Oliver. And yes, this is the second book in the Loop series or trilogy, the one I talked about before. Because I was enjoying that book so much, like while I was reading it, that I decided to buy the second one. So I did. And The Block is actually another kind of prison that they talk about in book one. And yeah, I think we're going to explore the block now. And again, since I like book one so much, I'm very excited for this one, and I will hopefully get to it very soon. Alright, we are nearing the end, and the next book I got was Bunny by Mona Awad. I am very sorry. Yes, I have seen a lot of people talk about this book, and they say that it's very weird, like the weirdest book they've ever read, which sounds right up my alley. So this is about Samantha, who goes to college, and there are a group of girls there who call each other Bunny, and she gets an invitation to attend a meeting with those girls. And it's not just a meeting or like a group of people, it's some sort of cult, and she gets like stuck into that cult. And yeah, like university cults sound very interesting. I wish there was a cult in my university, or maybe there is and I just don't know about it. So yeah, if anyone knows about a cult in my university, hit me up. And the last book I got was Ninth House by Lee Bardugo. And this is a fantasy horror novel, and it's about Alex, who gets offered a chance to go to Yale. And after she gets that opportunity, she is tasked with monitoring the activities of some secret societies. And those secret societies are revealed to be more occult and sinister than Alex was expecting. And again, like university cults. So I guess that was the mood I was in when I bought these books, because I bought them at the same time. And for this one, I've actually seen some mixed reviews. Some people say that it's very slow, like until the last 100 pages or something. And like, that's not very exciting to know, but at the same time, again, university cults, exciting. So yes, very excited to read this. So yeah, those were the books I got in the past few months, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a like and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!